Alright folks, hello and welcome back to Downstage Gaming. I'm your host Josh, and this is part 22 of our B-Sides Let's Play of The Letter. When we last left off, we'd started things off with Mr. Luke, Mr. Terrible here, and things went pretty different in the beginning bit of his chapter, basically just because Hannah is possessed. And so that, we've just sort of been dealing with that and kind of come to terms with it. And we've just sort of come outside here to a bit that I think we have seen before, yes. So we find the flowers, we sort of talk about our past. They say that even when our loved ones have passed on, they stay to watch over us. Though I believe in neither a heaven nor a hell, a hopeful part of me wishes it were true, as ridiculous as the idea is. Can't help but grow still, a chill growing up my spine when I do feel eyes upon me. No? Okay. For a while, I think I'm imagining it, but I'm all too familiar with the sensation of being watched. Carefully, I scan my surroundings, doing my best to not give away the fact that I'm aware of their presence, whoever they are. But there's not a soul in sight on the fields surrounding the mansion. Yet, they're on the balcony overlooking the garden. Interesting. Okay, so this is a bit different. Because last time we actually met sort of the original version of Takako, at least what we presume was that. And since this time Hannah's possessed, I guess that's maybe going to play out a little differently. She stands there, and though I cannot see her face clearly from afar, I know she is the one staring at me. A servant, if one were to judge by her clothing. From this distance, I can't discern what those stains on her clothing are. They're blood, Luke. The woman gives off a rabid air and simply did not belong with her surroundings. This isn't what worries me, though. What worries me is that she isn't one of ours. She can't be. Obvious signs of being tattered and dirty state aside, there shouldn't be anyone else in the mansion aside from the three of us. Just the three of us. And it's the balcony that leads to our bedroom. Forget pretending that I don't notice her.
You! What are you doing there? You're not supposed to be there!
Oi! Jump off the balcony! It's a stupid thing to do, I realize in hindsight, but calling attention to it was a spur-of-the-moment plan. From the height, there's no way she would have jumped off the balcony, and perhaps she would have only been able to sneak in there because Hannah is asleep. Calling out to her would wake Hannah, and at the very least call Johan's attention to the matter at hand. I dread to think of any other way she could have gotten there without Hannah calling for us. The woman on the balcony doesn't react, barely even stirs. Probably drug-addled or touched in the head, though that begs the question of how she even managed to get in there. Let's get a nice picture of that, though. Nice little shadow on the balcony. Okay, and this is... Okay, so this is shortly before the night. That changes nothing, of course. It doesn't stop me from running back to the mansion.
Shuriken! There's an intruder! In the bedroom!
Grab the knife!
Upstairs! Secure Hana immediately!
Secure the goods! Bursting in through the front door as I'm greeted by Johans with a kitchen knife in his hands, looking wary and alert. I can't believe he actually has I mean, of course he does, but there's a question on his lips for a moment, but he's quick to fall into place, giving me a curt nod before we rush up the foyer stairs. The woman would need to go through us to get anywhere, and between me and the butler, there's no way she's getting away. There's no announcing ourselves as I slam the bedroom door open, expecting to see the worst inside. When we find Hannah simply seated at her vanity, without a care in the world, my relief can't be any greater. Does she have to, like, take the necklace off in order to do something? I don't even question if she's well enough to be moving around yet, but that is soon followed by suspicion and caution. Without a word, I signal for Johans to search through the room for the intruder, even going so far as to slipping into the second bedroom. She couldn't have gone anywhere else, not without getting our attention, not without Hannah noticing. It isn't too far-fetched to think that she may have been coerced to act like nothing is out of the ordinary. If she's being forced to do this, she would be able to tell me without alerting the criminal. We would be ready for such things, after all being the wealthy, powerful, and influential people that we are, and though I hesitate to break her peace, to make her worry any more than she has the right to be, I know that matters of safety shouldn't be taken so lightly. Even if I could just content myself in just watching her.
Are you alright, Hana?
There's a moment of silence as she fastens a cord around her neck, and with her back still turned to me, she replies as calmly as can
Of
be.
course I am. Why wouldn't I be?
Look at my
Is there
face,
something wrong?
darling. Definitely not crazy. There's no sign of coercion or deceit, it's just simple possession. She gives none. Everything looks fine, seems fine, Hannah says as much. And if someone says they're fine, surely it's the truth. Stepping out onto the balcony doesn't say anything differently. The outside is devoid of signs of any other human life, with how secluded the property is. Though it is hard to be sure with how the sun has set, trying to locate anyone on the large property by myself would be futile. Whether it's the truth or a convenient lie, one can only assume that everything is alright. And even Johans is in agreement.
There's nobody in the second bedroom or in the closet. It's all clear.
I will be moving the light to green, sir. Yet I can't fight off the awful feeling that has taken over me.
Are you sure? Nobody? Double check. Triple check everything.
Quadruple
Check the whole house if
check.
you have to.
What's going on? What is all this then?
He claims
What's
to
all
have
this
seen
then?
an intruder standing on your balcony. Did you notice anyone here, madam?
No, it's just been me. I've not heard or seen anybody else aside from the two of you all day. Strange.
Very weird.
The others have been given the day off. There shouldn't be anybody else here. Are you sure of what you saw? Perhaps you were...
Drunk?
Yes, I bloody well am sure of what I saw. There was a woman standing there, dark hair and in servant's clothing. Are you insinuating that I am making things up? That I'm going mad? Because if you are, I don't care how competent you've been. I won't have such disrespect directed at me.
Oh, so you don't mind all the other disrespect, but him calling you crazy, that's the line?
It's not paranoia if people are out to get me.
My anger is easily roused, no thanks to the adrenaline rush that's kicked in sometime I don't know when. I don't think I'll get used to this feeling, really. No matter how many a time I've had to rely on it to survive in the streets as a child, to survive everything, with how high I've managed to prop myself up. And I take any and all threats towards my person seriously.
I'm not implying that you're mad. The occasional hallucination is a completely normal and human experience, as long as it isn't a repeat occurrence.
Is that true?
Oh, so what? That was a trick of the light? My imagination?
You haven't ingested any alcohol today, have you?
A valid question, but...
I am not drunk.
In my state, I only realize how quiet Hannah has gotten when she doesn't joke about my debatable alcoholism. Yes, there's people on both sides of this argument. There's no clever quip or words of fond exasperation. She's only been watching me through all this. And when I do notice that, I start feeling bugs crawling on my skin. When I didn't deign to speak further, fixated on the sensation, Johans cuts
Whatever
in.
the case, we need to establish tighter security. We should have done so from the start. If you were seeing things, then we got lucky. Had there been a real intruder, we were ill prepared.
Of course. I trust that you can hire the most qualified from the agency. Are you all right, Hannah? You seem disquieted.
I'm well, my love. I was just worried about how the hallucination brought you distress.
It wasn't a hallucination. I'm sure of it. But what can I do to prove otherwise?
Doesn't matter. You are safe, as am I. I overreacted.
Perhaps rest is necessary. It is late into the day, and you must be tired from your gardening.
Before I can ask how she knew what I was doing, a small fond smile graces her lips before she brushes away a few yellow petals from my sleeve. But doesn't really look like I'm that exhausted. I'm sure to be well rested despite it all, and it's not like I've done anything physically exhausting today. It's all mental. Beyond running here in a hurry anyway. No doubt I've left a trail of flowers in my mad dash. I do suppose I look like a mess.
That sounds good. I guess I'll need to sleep a lot more than I thought. But
I'll stand guard outside for the night. You two have nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. Not so sure about that. But thinking more about it isn't going to do anything.
Come on then, my love. Off to bed. I have been restless without you by my side.
Even then, I can't force away the uneasiness that settles over me. Sleep is hard to attain, and even Hannah's embrace does not help. She's still burning up. It is weird that her possession, shows itself as, a fever in some ways. Really little sleep was had, and I feel completely drained come the morning. Even when Hannah rises from bed, in spite of a mild fever, and invites me down to breakfast, I can't be bothered to drag myself out from the comfort of the sheets. It's not like I need to do something particularly important today. The rain that has started sometime during the night doesn't help the mood. Okay, maybe it helps just a little. The strange sunny weather has been nice and all, but for it to return as it should be feels like a good sign of things to come. I'm just curious to see where we're at. Okay, alright, interesting. Perhaps things will settle back to normal and the crazy drama that has gone on lately will die down. The rhythmic pitter-patter of the rain fills the early morning silence with a steady beat. Thank goodness I don't have to be anywhere in a hurry today. I would hate to be caught unawares in this rain. With how it looks outside, it seems like the weather is making up for all the sunny days it has given us with a good old-fashioned downpour. It does let up within a quarter of an hour. However, a day beginning with a cloudburst like this, locals usually take it as an immediate sign. Luxborn's abysmal weather is back, likely for good. I hope they did a damn good job of fixing this place, because I'd rather not have to deal with leaky roofs. Though Hannah might find humor in it, and perhaps ask me to sing in the rain to wear out my anger, I don't like the idea that the realty did a horrid patch job with the place. We, well, Hannah, technically, paid millions for this place. It better live up to the price the realty company sold it for. Not that it's something she should be fretting about the moment when her health's not at its best. Hannah's going to be brought to the hospital for a checkup today, and if anything, I prefer that she focus on getting better. That fever, no matter how slight it is, can't be good for her, what with her odd behavior recently. You'd think she hit her head hard against something while I wasn't looking. Like, really, the only way I can take all of this, his, like, inability to see the greater picture here of what's happened to Hannah, is that his relationship with Hannah was that poor. That he, like, can barely tell the difference. Like, obviously he gets that something is off, but the fact that he isn't immediately like, what happened to the person that I know? Like, bad relationship. I've been saying it forever. Perhaps a proper rest is all she needs, but I'd rather not assume things. I'm a businessman, not a doctor. That's what Shrokin's for. Wonder of wonders, why even bother agreeing to babysitting duty at that? But here I am, scheduled as today's babysitter for Suarez's brat, once her father drops her off the mansion steps. Though that is a worry for much, much later. If I wish to, I can ask that nobody bother me while I doze off in a cocoon of comforters. But as always, somebody has to be a buzzkill.
Are you really going to stay in bed all day?
Yes.
What do you want? It's far too early to deal with your nosiness.
You must have been really rattled by what happened yesterday. If you need to talk about it, I am quite qualified in that regard.
Shrokin, I'm scared.
And you aren't even the slightest bit bothered. Truly. Not even the slightest bit worried?
I was worried. But I realized that it's not my life in danger, is it?
Well, you got a point there, my friend.
worrying will not help matters. Neither will yours.
That's a great way of looking at things. Loath as I am to admit it, he is right. The whole thing might have rattled me, but there's little point in jumping at every shadow I see from the corner of my eye. I shouldn't lose my head for a threat that might not even come. I should know better by now. But I've never been this worried about a possible threat to my life before. I'll be honest here. If anyone's in danger, it's Hannah. I can take care of myself just fine. With security tightened, I'll have at least one guard, if not 5, making sure nobody gets within 10 feet from me without my say-so. Hannah, on the other hand, will be away for most of the day to get that fever checked, upon my insistence. There's a small relief that Johans will be with her.
Are there any updates about the woman?
The woman! Please update me about the woman, Johans. Being in the dark has me on edge. Information, any at all, may very well help me in calming down.
I've already briefed security about her, and more from the agency will be arriving tonight. But they haven't seen anyone fitting the description.
So you have nothing then? Fat lot of use you guys are. What do I even pay you for?
Alright, I don't pay you.
Do me a favor. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on your way out.
Well, there is something. It's about McCulloch.
Ooh. Though I'll deny it, I do find myself a tiny bit interested.
I called her secretary about taking the day off. He hasn't heard from her over the weekend.
Ever consider she might be putting her paycheck to good use? Probably somewhere out there getting drunk, having a shag. And I envy her for it.
Oh, what I wouldn't do to be in her shoes.
As long as she's here for work, what and who she does in her free time is her business.
Yeah. Hell, maybe she's found another client to sleep with. I'll commend her if that's the case. It's a good way as any to make connections and get business. You're such a dick. I would be a hypocrite and a liar if I said I didn't get some of my business that way. Scratches the itch, too.
That's all well and good, but she's not answering her mobile either. Mr. Parker will be filling a missing persons case with the police if she doesn't turn up today.
Okay, interesting as all this is, why bring this to my attention? If we've lost an interior designer, just find someone else to take her place.
Just thought you might care about the human life, sir, but I guess not. If I knew that letting Hannah hire her would bring so much trouble, I would have stopped it at just the sex.
The last anyone has seen of her was here, the morning of the party. Your housewarming party.
You did it. That isn't good news.
It wouldn't do for the police to hear of this and to suspect.
Hold on, let me chew on this for a moment. It's of little import that I can easily prove my innocence. It's all a matter of principle, because even the accusation of misdemeanor should not stain my reputation, although maybe it is a bit too late to hope for a squeaky clean one. Besides, it'll be such a hassle to have police poking about the house looking for a body that doesn't exist.
Now, if we're done here, I'd like to go back to sleep and...
Quick, to the bed! Well, there goes any plans of grabbing some shut-eye. Rolling over on my stomach, I can only scream into my pillow.
Of course, of course. Ah.
Yeah, okay. So, we meet up with Kylie. We head down and get some breakfast. She's doing some coloring. She talks to Miss Pink, and I have to shift my legs to become comfortable once more. The memory of my initial meeting with her is still fresh on my mind. Little Brad is quick to defend her favorite academic as well. The woman has yet to offer a proper apology, and she wishes to give one on her behalf, all diplomatic-like I taught her. She talks of the sad man in the park and of her new friend who likes to play hide-and-seek when she's not sniffing in the loot. What? If I didn't know better, I'd say the kid is trying to make me feel guilty. I want to say the little tyke is evil for making me feel so.
I understand. When I get sick, Papa and Mama have to leave me with their maids, too.
Well, they don't take care of you?
That doesn't sound right. Even my mom took care of me when I was sick as a
Well,
child.
they're always busy with work.
Oh, right, my fault.
Oh, I see. I guess that's no good.
I know she doesn't mean to accuse me of anything, but as a father's boss, maybe I do overwork Suarez a bit. There's a lot of responsibilities that only he is capable of carrying out. Delegation is a thing, sure, but when said responsibilities are legally questionable at best, putting others to the task isn't always an option. But
Maybe your papa is in need of some vacation time. He deserves it, doesn't he? He's a hard worker. I could arrange something for the holidays.
I could cut him some slack. Some of his assignments can wait. I can't do much for her mom, she isn't one of my employees, but this would have to suffice. It'll be worth it if it makes the little girl happy, because just like that, the somber look on her face turns into one of pure joy. It's like looking at a little sun, warm and bright. It's nice to do something kind every now and then. And it was on that day that Luke Wright's heart grew 3 sizes.
Would you really, Teal?
Would you like that?
I'd like that very much, yeah. We can go to this museum. There's one with lots of cool trains and planes. I like trains.
But I hate planes, so it's kind of a mixed bag.
And there's the local Manor theme park and a monkey forest.
Monkey
There's
forest?
The Adventure Farm too, the Wacky Warehouse, and a play barn as well. And
Whoa, slow down there, Munchkin. I know you're excited, but I think you should let me schedule your dad's day off before you plan a whole year's worth of stuff.
There's an embarrassed giggle, but she does reel herself in, enough to calm down, which is a feat in and of itself. It's obvious how giddy she is. And if she wasn't looking forward to the holidays before, like any child should, she does now.
I think Tia would be really happy if you were with her. You could have told me you needed to go to the hospital with her, Teal. I won't be angry.
I'd love to be with her, but I wanted to spend time with you, Munchkin. And she told me to stay. Besides, I don't like hospitals. They always smell like alcohol. Not the good kind either.
I was gonna say, wouldn't you like
I
that?
don't think anybody likes hospitals. They're scary.
No, I bet some people do, for
But
some
you
weird
said
reason.
Tia is brave and strong.
That she is.
A content silence comes over us as we go back to scribbling. Though I stop when I'm done with my blue dog, cringing at how awful it looks. Kylie reprimands me for that, because I should be like her. The little tyke goes through several sheets of paper, one drawing after another. Practicing, she says, because practice makes perfect. Not to mention, there's a drawing contest coming up in class, and she just has to beat Tim from Class D, who says girls can't be superheroes. The clay gets a turn too, where we start sculpting food and pretending we're Michelin chefs. When we're too tired for tossing pizza and making cakes, there's no trouble in finding another activity more relaxing for the both of us. I find myself invested in reading The Picture of Dorian Gray once more. Often I lose myself in the pages of the book. However, it is rather difficult to do so when I'm also trying to keep an eye and ear out for Kylie. I've been reading the same paragraph over and over again. Inexplicably, I can feel my skin crawl when the girl sits with Narcissa by the parlor's fireplace, humming, singing, though I ignore it long enough to hear only the tail end of the song.
Everything is up in flames, up in flames, up in flames.
Everything is up in flames, my fair lady. The latter is the curse, curse. Alright, well, nothing. Okay, that's interesting. I would have thought we still would have gotten the thing of the picture in Takako. It's interesting how much is slightly different. Alright, so... Okay, so this is after he has the talks, but right before he really leaves to go get the note and everything. Okay. I don't think I can spend any more time with Kylie, considering how high-strung I feel. So it's a good thing that Suarez came for as soon as I've called. Let's also take a look where we're at here. Okay, so... we should have seen most of this. Oh, okay, so he does come back and see that. Okay, this is the bit where we go to the ballroom and we have the images. Whispers and accusations fill every crevice of my head, ringing and echoing around like a terrible case of tinnitus. They stare, gazes filled with judgment and disgust. Even before their beloved lady has spoken, she's already condemned.
This horrid woman! I beg the court for justice!
Okay, so I was like mostly right.
Who knows what this devil's bride is capable of? She has already bewitched my love.
Yeah.
My betrothed.
Okay, and so we're also keeping along the assumption here that the reason that Charlotte is like seeking vengeance against the servant here is because there's some sort of affair, or at least certainly the servant girl loves Charlotte's husband.
I just cannot bear to think of what she has done to him after. Or what else she may do to our people if we let her live. Blood taints this woman's hands, and I deserve to be repaid in kind for that which she has taken from me.
There is nothing for her but death, and she knows this. Her silence says as much. One after the other, they come at me, an unending flood that threatens to sweep me away for what feels like an eternity, each one a show of both joy and suffering for those who've called this mansion their home. Each new scene is like a hammer to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. I can feel every little emotion in the blurry images that present itself in my head. I feel a part of these, like I've lived through them, though I know that is not possible. All their anger burns through me, that much is evident, but the pain more so. And above all of it are the whispers. The voices calling, luring, until one image emerges in vivid contrast with the others. When there's a shout of joy, my eyes snap open, looking for the culprit. That's when the whole room just changes. Everything is the same, yet everything isn't. Okay, we see the two dancing. Oh, right, we have this. The woman from the balcony stands beside me. I can hear her rattling breath, menacing and chilling. Everything in me screams to run. But something pins me to the spot as she just looks at me, watching and waiting. The clamor of their voices fills the ballroom. Although they say such welcoming words, I do not feel comforted by the madness I'm experiencing. Their joyous voices turn sinister and foreboding to my ears. The chorus of people that shouldn't exist, threaten to overwhelm me, drown me even as I stand on dry land. The music still plays as the Phantom Quartet continues, while I stand here vulnerable and afraid. But the dance has already ended, and I'm afraid that I might just be tonight's entertainment. Attention is all well and good until bollocks like this go down. These phantom people watch me, thousands of eyes scrutinizing, though they cheer for my return, cajole me to dance and join the merriment. There are eager hands all over, pulling me in every direction, but they do not move me enough to remove me from the woman's gaze.
Listen. Can you not hear them as they welcome you home? Your kind? Our kind?
What does that
Or
mean?
one of us, my love? We are bonded by the blood we share.
If I thought the voices were from before, it is nothing compared to how they are now. Their voices are loud, speaking in unison and echoing ever on in the spaces of my head. They welcome me back as if I've always belonged, as if I was meant to be here in the first place. They call me as these titles and names that do not belong to me, and that man's face, the one with the empty eyes, flashes again before me, once fleetingly, like a new memory having burned itself in my mind. I have to struggle for air when I come back to myself after.
This isn't...
The welcomes turned into screams at my protest, pained and desperate pleas for my help, telling me that it is my duty to stay, telling me that I belong among them, to them. Gentle touches turned near threatening, the warning scratches and the baring of teeth by predators before they truly maim someone. My mouth goes dry as I struggle to speak some sense in this hallucinatory madness, but I don't get the chance as they drown out my voice.
Oh Lord, my prince.
Okay, now surely you could make a connection here, my friend. At her words, there's a compulsion to stay. Though my heart races in my chest, the fear I should be experiencing refuses to register in my head. Yeah, we've definitely seen that. So we run into Shrokin, kind of freak out. We head back to the bedroom. Shrokin's gonna leave us there. And we get into Tuesday. Alright. Alright, folks. Well, that is going to have to do it for here. We're going to have to reach whatever the new climax of Luke's bit here is next time as we make our way into Ash disarming him. And we'll see where things go from there. But until then, this has been Downstage Gaming. I have been your host, Josh, and I will catch you all next time.